Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of House Bill 1485. It's, I think over the last 2 days, it's really been mischaracterized, and there's really been quite a campaign of misinformation. And I think that was very telling from some of the prepared remarks that we saw so many on the other side of the aisle reading from. But House Bill 1485, Mr. Speaker, takes a very small step in reducing spending by the Commonwealth. A very small step, I think about 3% reduction in spending. I support House Bill 1485 and the 3% cut in spending, although personally, I'd like to see it cut much further, Mr. Speaker, as many of those of us that claim the credentials as fiscal conservatives believe that government should live within its means. We still don't believe that this budget goes as far as it should to ensure that it really does live within its means, but it's a good first step. Mr. Speaker, to say that House Bill 1485 is going to drive property taxes up, it's going to, the middle class, it keeps declining, and this is a continuation of that it's short-sighted cuts, that it's jeopardizing our economic future. A 3% cut is jeopardizing our economic future, a 3% cut in the budget. Mr. Speaker, this budget, if it were a good steak, has only had a tenderizer and a butter knife used on it to reduce the fat, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I had my way, I would use a meat cleaver on this steak that we call the budget, and I'd make sure that we red the fat out of this budget. The welfare spending has grown by over $4 billion during the Rendell administration per year, Mr. Speaker, per year. We could have found a 3% cut for the overall budget just in the welfare spending, Mr. Speaker. I think it's outrageous to say that this is jeopardizing our economic future by cutting spending, by the reductions that you'll see in government jobs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that's the true economic stimulus for private sector job creation, is reducing the government overhead, which is mainly carried through government employee salaries and benefits, Mr. Speaker. The more government employees eliminated, the better for those trying to create jobs in the private sector, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1485 takes a small step in the right direction. I commend the governor for actually putting a budget proposal forward, the first that I've seen in 13 years to actually reduce spending. I commend our appropriations chairman, our majority leader, and our leadership team for actually moving forward to try and reprioritize within this budget so that we can find consensus and have a budget on time this year with no tax increases, with no fee increases, with no increases in debt, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the misinformation that we've listened to over the last 2 days to claim that we have a surplus now, when we have $8 billion in debt, Mr. Speaker, when we have multi-billion-dollar financial liabilities with our pension system, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have unemployment compensation liabilities, funding liabilities to the federal government, multi-billion-dollar, that we're going to have to pay back to the feds. Mr. Speaker, for any sane person to argue that we actually have a surplus when we are carrying such a high load of debt, it's laughable, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure that the taxpayers across the state that were fired up and went out last November to change the direction of the state by changing this body, that they are not sitting in their living rooms and watching this debate and applauding those on the other side of the aisle that claim that these cuts are deep, that it's going to jeopardize our economic future. Mr. Speaker, what's jeopardizing our economic future are those individuals on this floor who have been complicit with the previous administration and actually overtaxing the people of the state for far too long, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 1485 has been a long time coming. It's the first step in many steps that we're going to need to take to really put the state back on an economic path to prosperity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if we truly want to right the ship here, and we truly want to see the tens of thousands of Pennsylvanians who have lost jobs put back into the workforce and re-employed once again, Mr. Speaker, we're going to have to do this and more. We're going to need this step. We're going to need the previous bill that was not successfully moved today. We need to make changes, otherwise we're not going to see a new direction, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 1485 is a good first step. I applaud the makers of this legislation. and I'll be there to support them. It's important that we move the budget forward at $27.3 billion and not a penny more, Mr. Speaker, because there's many of us that will not support any further spending than what's already proposed in this budget, which I will support, House Bill 1485, because it puts us back on a better path to economic prosperity, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Question.